Welcome to Say Like a Champ, episode 241. It's your boy A-Dub.
And your boy Strizzy. What's up, SLAC fam?
What it do? We back in the building. Another Tuesday in sports, and lots of fun stuff to talk about. But as always, just a great opportunity to be together as a SLAC family and spend a little bit of time. So that's what it is. We got some of the Slackers in the building already. We got Moms, we got Pops, we got Kelly, and we got Unk.
Okay.
Hello and welcome to you all. Unfortunately, we can't make it Friday yet. We gotta. I wish we could just skip forward to Tuesday or to Friday, Moms, but it's still Tuesday. So, but yeah, we got Pops and Kelly and Unk in the building. And again, thank you all for being here. We appreciate you having you as part of the show. And make sure you keep those comments rolling in as we get to our topics here in a few. We also got Anthony Weston holding down Chiefs Kingdom. What's good? So, before we get started, Strizzy, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. You know what I'm saying? Early in the week already. It's only Tuesday, but some pretty cool things that happened in sports already. We just, had both of the NCAA championship games and had a major trade in football, so which I'm sure we'll talk about coming up soon. But I'm good, man. How about you?
Yeah, same here. Everything's going good. I just can't believe it's already pretty much the end of the NBA season. Most teams only have like 3 or 4 games left, so just basically the rest of this week, and that's it. So excited to see what's going to happen with that. But yeah, everything's going good. Just same old. Time is just going way too fast. But we already know how that is. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Before we get started here, we do got to enter in the third member of our panel, and we're bringing in live on location our boy Matt Marcus. What's good?
What's up, people? How everybody doing, man?
Doing good, fam. How are you?
We here, man. It's practice, but I'm gonna go on mute for a little bit. But yeah, I'm here.
That's what's up. We're glad to have you with us for sure. Also want to welcome in Grace to the show.
Okay.
Hey, Grace, thanks for joining. And later on, too, I do want to hear your guys' if y'all had an experience with the clips. With Anthony Weston already has it in here. Awesome seeing the full eclipse here in Dallas. I definitely want to see what that was like or hear your thoughts on what that was like. We didn't have total darkness here in Arizona, but it was pretty cool though. So let us know if you were checking out the solar eclipse. So yeah, Trizzy, did you see it?
No, I didn't have no glasses. I didn't really care if I'm being honest with y'all. but I've seen a lot of people's pictures, and the pictures are actually pretty dope, but I didn't actually see it myself.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Marcus? Nah? You good?
Yeah, I didn't know it happened, man. So I wasn't paying attention to it.
No, that's good. That's the way to go. Especially like you were saying, Strizzy, if you don't have the glasses, you don't want to damage your vision or anything like that. Yeah. And for me too, I checked it out. It was pretty cool, but I definitely did appreciate the photographers and everybody that was out there prepared for it. Like all those different images they captured was pretty cool. So
yeah, man. There's always somebody who decides to look up at the eclipse with no protective glasses on, and there's this kid on like Instagram. His eyes were just like shot red from like the inside. It was so bad. I was like, this is why you can't count who to anything for the ground, I guess. But it was crazy.
Yeah, that is.
His eyes look so bad.
The sun will damage your eyes so fast. So I don't think people really realize. So, all right, that's what's up. Well, I'm glad we all made it unscathed, and we can all, see and everything like that. And let's go ahead and jump into our topics. This will be a quick one, but let's jump into our first topic of the day. What's up next?
Oh, let's check it out, man, real quick.
Tuned to NFL Talk.
Let's get it.
All right, NFL Talk. And yeah, as Strizzy, as you alluded to, not too much going on in the NFL except for this big major trade, which it's interesting at this point in the offseason to see like such a big star on the move.
Yeah.
Going into the offseason, there was some rumblings of, would he be on the move? Was that his last season in Buffalo? We now have Diggs going to the Houston Texans, which I think is pretty gangster. Gives Stroud some new, another like a bona fide weapon to go with what they were kind of building on last year. And it wasn't too much compensation, but Strizzy, Marcus, what did y'all think of Diggs being traded?
I think it's huge. I mean, it's kind of weird because we definitely don't see how good Josh Allen is next year. I've seen his receivers left on the list, and it ain't looking nothing nice. You know what I'm saying? But I think Diggs has a ton left in his tank. I just think he just was kind of fed up with the Buffalo Bills last year. I mean, he mentioned it. Like he said himself, like He didn't want to be there. They didn't want him there, so they got rid of him, like you said, practically for free, practically for nothing. You know what I mean? So I think it'll be phenomenal for the Texans. Obviously, they already got really two bona fide wide receivers. They got Mixon as a running back, so the offense is looking real scary as long as Stroud doesn't have a sophomore slump. So Texans are looking really good in the AFC, man. Continue.
It just makes me more mad because another player we was supposed to got. So it just makes me know that I'm really taking a break from the Cowboys next year. So it just makes it more relevant. That's two players we supposed to go on our team that we didn't go and get. And just that's what it does for me. It just makes me more sad. So and he came to Texas too. Like it's crazy.
It makes it even worse.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, I think Strizzy, to your point, it is huge for the Texans and for that offense, what they can do in their division. And then Marcus too. Like that was my first thought is relating it to the Cowboys. Like, dang, like we couldn't have just given up, you know what I'm saying, like a future 3rd round pick or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just pretty crazy because I'm like, I would have loved to see us get a chance at that, having the Diggs brothers together. But I mean, of course, just having him across CeeDee Lamb, like, I mean, what are you going to do with that? And then we have a good tight end, so it wouldn't even have mattered about the running back as much, you know what I'm saying, if we had that kind of weaponry.
Right.
So that's what I was thinking too. It's funny, Anthony Weston as well. He says Texans are doing what Jerry Jones said they were going to do. Jerry, saying all in, but Texans are actually making a lot of moves, and they got Hunter on the defensive side too. So it's not even just the offense, but they did add Mixon to go with Stroud and his phenomenal rookie season. They already got Tank Dell, Nico Collins, so they have a nice looking offense for sure. And then the defense, they added some pieces on there too. So I was going to jump into the comments real quick, but I do think that makes them poised to have a step forward, even from what they did last year.
Definitely.
We got Earthly in the building. What's good?
Yep.
Appreciate you stopping in, Earth. We know you're always there in the background, so we appreciate you jumping on today. Let's see. Pop says Diggs declined miserably midseason. I think he will be rejuvenated somewhat, but he is basically bum status the way he played last year. I think that honestly, I think his happiness relates to like how his level of playing. I know that that's not always like the best, right? You would expect people to just go out and do this thing regardless, right? Yep. But kind of like Pop said, I think he will be rejuvenated with the Texans. Like I think that gives him a fresh start. I think the Bills pretty much maxed out, and then kind of just were stagnant these last couple of years, ever since the 14 seconds thing, basically.
Yeah,
I feel like so.
I think they started the season out really slow too. Remember, man, they barely crept into the playoffs at the end. You know what I mean? Like they literally had to win their last game of the season to creep in, and they did that. So, I'm with you on that. I understand Pops is, you're a professional. You play football for millions of dollars a year. Like you don't get to not play because you're unhappy. You know what I'm saying? But I do think he'll be rejuvenated. I think he gets to play along two really talented, really young receivers. I think he gets to be like the veteran guy for those guys too. So I think he'll be rejuvenated. I think he'll be just fine. I don't know about bum status. We'll see. But I think we got to segue a little bit. But with CeeDee Lamb looking like he's going to be stalling until he gets a paycheck or something like that, it might be nice to have a guy like that in case for whatever reason y'all go into the season without him.
Yeah, I agree. And to that point, CeeDee Lamb, he wasn't at the voluntary stuff so far, right? Yeah. But we'll see if he does hold out or if he waits until he gets a contract extension. I know that that's kind of a big deal for the Cowboys this offseason between Dak and then also future signing Micah Parsons.
Yep.
That's really part of what's hamstring them and had them basically make no moves so far this offseason. So
I feel real bad for the Cowboy fans this year, man. They Cowboy fan. I'm praying for y'all, man. So that's how it goes.
Yeah,
a lot of people are saying that it's a tank year. They're saying it's a reason to get rid of old boy, the coach, and to possibly sign a quarterback next year to replace Dak. So we'll see.
It is pretty crazy, like the difference between saying like we're going all in and then what they've actually done so far, which is basically just say, hey, McCarthy, this is you're going to go ahead and play out a contract year. Dak, you'll go ahead and play out a contract year. We're not making any long-term commitments to what we got, but not actively trying to get better either. It doesn't sit well with me because I feel like there's still more work to be done. They can't just be like, oh, we're going to just run it back and see what happens. Like that obviously wasn't enough before. So yeah, I don't like it either. It's weird to think that this could be like a tank year after them saying all in, but I don't know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. They're not making any moves that make me think that they're getting better. And says maybe his all in meant all in tanking. And then Unc earlier said Texans are the best team in Texas. They certainly had a better season last year as far as where they went, but I hope that that's not true. On paper though, they definitely had the best offseason.
That's for sure.
They definitely most improved in Texas, but hopefully they're not the best. So,
and I think they get under DeMarco Ryans, I think they just get even better too on defense next season. Like, another season under that coach, practically the same team coming back with improvements. There's no way they should be any worse than they were last year. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, that was only his rookie season as a coach too, so he's got something to build on.
Yeah.
Pop says, Marcus, I'm glad you're out. You don't mean that, Pop. We need him back. We need everybody on the bandwagon with us. We need everybody riding.
That's okay. That's okay. After the end of the season, I'm gonna say what? Good thing I wasn't there. They ain't gonna do nothing. So good luck to y'all this year.
Oh man.
Good luck to y'all.
Oh man, we're gonna need it for sure. Oh, that's funny. But yeah, no, that's not true. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him, Marcus. Anthony West says Dallas is going to draft that Michigan running back in the first round. I don't know, man. I think that they're going to have to go running back, but we'll see. I kind of hope I think both Michigan players, him and JJ McCarthy, I feel like are a little bit overrated. But I guess that's just, I don't know. That's just me. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah.
What do you think?
You're a little injury prone too already. I don't know. I don't like that.
Yeah. It's crazy because in the draft this year too, looking at the running backs, like there's no like totally studs like coming out. Like last year you had 2 first rounders. This year it's looking like there's a handful of different guys that could be the best. You can make arguments for it, but nobody really standing out. So we'll see. But the draft is just about 2 weeks away. Yep. We'll be having to do some little draft programming. Like I was saying last week, we'll definitely do a little mock draft. We'll have Anthony Weston stand in as the resident GM, of course, again, and see what he's feeling like for that first round. But that's pretty much all we have for NFL news. There was the Rashee Rice thing last week. We found out that he was driving a Lamborghini in like a little bit of a street race that caused an accident. I'm curious if he will get in trouble at all, though, but I don't know. Did you guys have any thoughts on that?
They'll find a way to get him in trouble. But these guys, I still blame the front office. Like, it should be some kind of program or some kind of thing these guys shouldn't be doing. You shouldn't be doing this stuff, man. Like, you could die. You can easily die in this kind of stuff. So it should be a program. These guys can't even drive. Like, they should have a driver for these guys for the first couple of years so we know you're mature or something like that, So the first 2-3 years, you gotta have a driver wherever you go. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you can do it during sometimes kind of hard off season kind of thing, but it should be some kind of rule. Like if you do this, you're gonna be something happens. So we got a whole guy, him or Russ, lost his whole life pretty much because of something that he shouldn't have did. So I think the front office they should do something for these young guys where they can't be driving or something like that. It's the same way. It's the same way with you can't play basketball. You can't do this during the season because you can't rinse the injury. So the offense should be the same type of thing. It should be a rule for these young guys.
Yeah, I agree,
Marcus. I think through the entirety of a rookie contract, when you're still growing up, you know what I mean. Like there should be something in your contract that essentially set. You know what I mean? If you want to get paid, if you want to make these game checks, like there's got to be something in there that keeps you from doing stupid stuff. You know what I mean? And you look at the wide receiver from Las Vegas, you know what I mean? His whole life, could be over just like that for the same thing, doing 100 and some odd miles per hour in a Lamborghini or whatever. And I mean, like I don't know, you make way too much money doing something that's entirely too fun to have it ruined in one night doing something stupid like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a marketer, man. There's got to be some of a program, help them with their money, help them with the lifestyle, making sure they know that even when you think a camera's not on you, I promise you a camera is on you. You know what I mean? And you're just always being watched, man.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Anthony West says Rashee is making us need to draft a wide receiver in the first round again. And yeah, it is pretty crazy though. And it turns out in this situation that the two cars that were racing, like he was leasing one and owned the other one. They haven't identified the driver of the other car, but they were out there doing their thing. Pops says people make bad choices regardless if they play in the NFL or work in the post office. And I agree with that, but there's so much at stake. I do think that they need better advisement or something. And then also with the understanding that even if they do have that better advisement, some people are still going to just
be dumb.
Yeah. You know,
but I still always go back to Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant was on his way doing that too, until Jerry Jones got him a babysitter. And he's one of the best Cowboys ever played a game, you know what I'm saying? So he stayed with level head and he stayed out of trouble. So I just think, of course, he's not going to be perfect, but I think Dez Bryant, if they wouldn't have did the babysitter thing, I think he would have got in trouble. He probably wouldn't have been with us long, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that, actually. Like, the chaperone thing is not too bad of an idea, like, honestly. Like, you know, it wouldn't be a bad idea, and it would maybe have somebody that's, like, you know, could just help you out and give you that advisement that you need, give you a little bit of guidance. Pop says what he says about Dez, but that's the point. Like, that's what he needs.
I was killing you today.
Yeah.
Pop's got too funny. We were rolling.
Anthony West says he's getting 6 games at least. That's crazy, but I can.
And that sucks. That's literally their best receiver. You know what I'm saying? They struggled at receiver all year last year. He was the one little shining spot aside from Kelsey, of course. But damn, 6 games is a lot of games.
Yeah, for sure. It is. So, all right, we'll keep things moving though. We'll see what happens with that situation and with the NFL as well. But yeah, that was the big news we definitely want to discuss. Now I want to jump over to basketball right quick, and I threw up the standings for both sides with this is with, you know, basically like 3 games to go, and we're 1 week from the play-in tournament. So we have that 7 through 10 seeds will be battling it out for the final 2 playoff spots on either side. And looking at the East real quick, how do you feel, Strizzy? I know, you know, your Heat usually don't have too much problems once they get in the playoffs, but how do you feel about them being in that play-in scenario?
Honestly, I'm not really too worried about it. You know what I mean? The thing that annoys me the most, I think, especially because it's my squad, is that, like, obviously they're better than where they are. And I feel like kind of the same thing last year. They're kind of playing that role in regards of, like, where we want to end the season because who do we want to play first compared to as long as we get past the first round, which is playing, you know, either the 1 or 2 seed, we're going to play somebody a lot easier in the second round and make it easier to get to the finals, right? Right now, the Milwaukee Bucks are not very good. Like, I don't know why. Like, for whatever reason, like, this team, we're at the end of the season, and, like, it just hasn't really worked. The chemistry's still not there for them. They're a horrible defensive team. You know, went from one of the best defensive teams in the league to one of the worst defensive teams in the league, and they struggle against teams with good defenses. So I think Miami again wants Milwaukee in the first round, so they might just end in the end it in the 7th. You know, try to get there, whatever. I know they don't want Boston in the first round. Or they're going to try their best to get to 6 so they can play Orlando in the first round. But I'm not super worried about it. But the problem, though, that I'm having is, like, you know, just play out the season the way you should. Get the 3rd seed. They're better than the Pacers, Cavaliers, Knicks, and Magic. You know what I mean? Like, just get the 3rd seed, play the 6th, and stop trying to worry about the play-in. It's nerve-wracking because, you know, you go back a couple of years ago in the when the Warriors, right, were in the play-in. You expect them to be in the playoffs, and then they lose once to the Lakers, and then they lose to a young and upcoming Memphis team that they probably had no business losing to. You know, they replay that game, they probably blow them out. But you don't want to be in the play-in and keep it a chance. So I'm like, just get in the playoffs, man. Like, at least get to the 6th seed. But I don't know, worried but not worried. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta watch out for the Bucks, though, man. That's a team that. They get in the playoffs. It hit that switch, you know. I picked them to fool a lot of people. A lot of people talking about they ain't the same team. Playoffs come around, they did Giannis get going and Dame get going. Like, it's gonna be hard to beat them. And then you got what's the other guy, the shooting guard, Middleton. You get those guys going. It's gonna be hard to beat them in a 7-game series. So. Yep. I gotta see who they play. They play the Heat. I think it'll be a good series. I wouldn't be surprised if Heat beat them, but. I gotta see it. If they play 76ers, I think they'll go deep in the playoffs. I can't give up on them like that. I think Giannis is still a guy. He showed flashes this year, like he just relaxed him cruise control. So I think Doc might get them together, man. But like I said, it won't be a surprise. But I think they might be a team to be in the playoffs.
And I'm with you, Marcus. Like, at the end of the day, they're one of the worst defensive teams, but they are one of the best offensive ones. And Miami's not really known for putting up points. We're a great defensive team, so we hold teams to lower scoring games. But if we get into a firefight with Milwaukee, it's a wrap. That's something that Miami can't keep up with. They're not a high scoring team at all. Yeah. So, which is one of the bigger reasons why we wanted Dame so bad, right? So, like, I'm with you. Like, I definitely believe that Milwaukee can compete and beat anybody, Boston included. I think they're beating them right now. But it's just, it's been the season in its entirety that's been like, what's up with this Bucks team? Like, they should be better than this, especially with 3 to 4 games left. But I'm with you. Like, that's why I don't want them in the play-in. It's like, yeah, they did this last year and got to the finals, but like, you don't want to be there. You know what I mean? You don't want to be in the play-in. Like, you want to be in. You want to be at least that 6th seed. And they're too good, you know what I mean, that the team's been this way for the last couple of years. Jimmy's missing games for literally no reason. There's no injuries. He's just missing them for no reason, and that's hurting him, you know what I mean? So it's what worries me a little bit.
Yeah, I feel you, because it's like, why mess around? And you can't bank on the success of past years and think, oh, it's just going to play out the same way. We did it before, so we can do it again. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
It don't always work like that.
Exactly. It will do that.
Yeah, so we'll see, but it will be some good matchups there. I mean, the 76ers and the Heat are both some teams that were doing really well in the East, and so that's going to be some good matchups on that, depending on, say, they both make it in the playoffs and you got the Celtics and the Bucks going against them, in that first round. So I just hope it's not the Celtics out of the East. And I haven't given up on the Bucks either, but I think the whole Doc element is kind of funny to me. Like, he probably thought it was going to be easy too, like all that talent there. He's like, oh, okay, I'll step in, and they actually, have not improved. So
you can't blame him though, man. You can't blame Doc for going there.
No, I know. I just like that he's in pain a little bit. I still see him as like that Celtics coach. So I'm like, and even when he was with the Clippers too, I'm like, so we'll see. We'll see. What about the Magic in the East? Do you think that they could make a run though, depending on who their first matchup is?
Yeah, I think they're gonna be nice in the playoffs, man. I think they got a little confidence. I think they're gonna be. They're the team to be the that dark horse. I think they'll be the team to watch out for. I'm gonna pick them. Cause everybody else, I thought it would be Cleveland, but I don't trust them. But I think Orlando, man, with the young guy Pablo, man. I've been watching since high school. I think he's becoming his own. They're gonna be a nice team to watch, man.
Yeah,
well, Paolo he's not getting talked about enough, dog. Like, look at where this team was just last year. You know what I mean? And now they're number 3 in the East, going to the playoffs, and their pacing is really, really good. They're already a playoff type team. Like, they play playoff type basketball all season. You know what I'm saying? So I think they'll be really good to go in there. I think they beat the Pacers. Honestly, first, I think they move on. I think they beat the Pacers. The Knicks have been showing me, like, as much as I hate the Knicks, I'm a Miami Heat fan. They've been really, really well too. Kind of sucks, as mentioned. They are without Julius Randle.
They done, man.
Yeah, that really, really hurt them. I think they really wanted to get him back sometime before that. So, but same thing. They're like Miami. You know what I mean? Like, they're a really, really, really good defensive team. If they can keep games low, they 100% have a chance and get their ball to their best player, because Brunson has easily been one of the best guards all season. So he's been nice.
Yeah, no doubt.
I thought Indiana was gonna do something too, and then what's that the tournament called? In-season tournament. Yeah. The team that's gonna be the East, they gonna come up, but I don't know. They just kind of fell down. Is it because Halliburton was hurt or something? Is that what happened?
I think so. That's what I'm thinking. I think his injuries really kind of hampered him, and I think that he hasn't really recovered because he ain't looked the same since.
Okay. Yeah. I thought Siakam gonna kind of give him a little injury or something like that, but I don't know, man. Maybe there's another team that you might sleep on them. They might surprise you. So we'll see.
Yeah. I was thinking that too, because like the Pacers was my one to watch, but I feel like they did kind of peak like early, and then there was a lot of talk about them because the All-Star game was there and all that stuff, and then since then they kind of dwindled down. So I do kind of feel a little bit more confident in the Magic being that young team to kind of make a little run. And I do think that depending on how far they go, that'll build them for the previous years, because they're trying to get that playoff experience still. So
yeah, we'll
see. Anthony Weston, he says he's rooted for Orlando. And Kelly says wild how close the West is, which it is crazy. Just a few games separating those teams, from being in or out of the play-in. And moving over to the West, I am a little bit worried about the Lakers. Same as you with the Heat, Strizzy. It's like I just don't want them in the play-in. Like, they're playing really good ball. I think they've won like 10 out of their last 12, but like still here they are. and it's like this is a couple years in a row now where it's like they started off so bad and then they worked their record back up. Obviously if they were in the East, it'll be a little bit different, but they're way above 500 and still kind of struggling to stay in. And it's like you don't really want to play the Warriors either. So I don't know.
Yeah, man, you want to play the Warriors? The Warriors trash. You want
well, I mean, I guess I don't mind.
They got the last championship. They're not scared no more, man. Nobody's scared of them no more. So yeah, you want to play the Warriors?
I do feel comfortable with any of those teams in the play-in. They should be able to take them out. But I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that the Suns like lose out and the Lakers win out somehow. You know what I'm saying? The Suns fall into the play-in. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, Suns have some hard games coming up too, so it could happen for them, So we'll see. I'm just surprised Minnesota stuck it out the whole season and stay on top like that. I thought they were gonna fall off, but they stayed with it, man. So that's they're gonna get put out the first round who they play, but hey, they did it for the whole season. I don't trust them in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is part of it too. Is like Big Cat coming back soon. Like, will that make a difference? But I'm surprised as well that they kept their record up there. I still think that the Nuggets are the toughest team in the West, like the most complete team. But the Timberwolves did surprise me with that. But you're right, Marcus. Like that seeding might not make a difference, really. Hats off to them. But I don't know. I don't know how far that they can really go. But I do love my guy from Georgia over there, though. He's Anthony Edwards is a beast, though. So I love
Anthony Edwards, man. I like his personality and how he plays, man. He's a great guy, man. So
yeah, for sure. Let's see. Unk says Mavericks are his dark horse this season, and they have got a lot more figured out. I mean, from being out of the playoffs last year to now, coming back with Kyrie and Luka is just a beast too. So right in the middle of that playoffs, I don't know.
A third guy though. When you go to a championship team, you gotta have one more guy. I just don't know who that guy. They have kept Jalen Brunson from. You know what I'm saying, and I was like, yeah, they'll be the team in the West. But I don't know, man. They don't have a solid number 3, so that's the only thing I don't know. I think Kyrie and Luka gonna kind of do too much. They won't be enough. I don't think.
Yeah, I feel like it depends on the matchup too. But some of their early rounds, they might be able to sneak through the first round. But I don't know. I don't know if they can make the long run because you're right. They don't have that third player, and they don't have like a super reliable big. I guess. I mean, they got some guys, but we'll see. Let's see who else. I mean, the Clippers. I never really get too worried about them because they always fall down in the playoffs.
I don't know, man. This year they've been healthy though, so it might be different this year. They seem different. They seem like they want to play and do it. So, like even Westbrook coming back, he wasn't supposed to come back this year. He came back and wanted to play. So they don't have some fight in them though. They have some good fight in them. So I won't say the same Clippers. They won't. I don't think they'll win it maybe again, but I think they'll fight to get to that Western Conference Championship. I think this year.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see them make a big run. I know they got the new stadium coming up. They're trying to build it up. And so hopefully, because I still like watching Kawhi Leonard play too,
Yeah.
And actually, you're right. They have been healthy this season. They have been playing. So the matchups in the West are going to be good. Every single one of those playoff matchups is going to be good.
For real.
So,
I kind of thought New Orleans and Sacramento would be higher than what they are too. They're young and they like last year they both showed everybody like, oh, they're coming. I don't know what they want to be down there like that, but what? But Zion, man, he's still playing. He almost got injured the other night. Oh, here we go. But he came back, so we'll see what he do. If he stays healthy too, it'd be some good ball on the West side. I think the West will be really good to see, but hopefully Zion stay healthy. It'll be good to see.
Yeah, I want to see him stay healthy and Ingram too, because that's my guy. So I just feel like too that the Pelicans, like, I would want to see them take another step, but can't be rooting for everybody in the West. But like I like almost somebody on every team. Like everybody's got their strong points for me too. So that's gonna be some good stuff to see.
How y'all feel about OKC? Are they pretenders?
I don't know because they're good and they got some people. But what do you think, Strizzy?
I think they're good. I think they're fine. I think last year, the youth hurts them. You know what I mean? Not this year. I think they could literally go to bat with anybody in the West right now. Don't think they can beat Denver, but I really think they can compete with them. They beat Denver 3 times this year. Denver hasn't beaten them yet.
Dang, I didn't realize they were.
Yeah, they're 3-0. They're 3-0. Now, don't get me wrong. Playoffs is different. You know what I mean? You get to, it's a lot different, but they are 3-0 against the Nuggets this year. So
I like that.
If I'm not mistaken, one of those games is without Shy, so we'll see.
Yeah, they do have a good collective too. Like, I mean, they have a good team.
That's what I mean. They're another just top to bottom team, and SGA, I think to me has made that jump to a player that's like he's that dude now. You know what I mean? Like, there's no more of like, SGA he's all right. They're gonna, as far as they get, they'll get as far as a team. But like, nah, that man's got some buzzer beaters this year. He's literally put that team on his back this year. He's up there for MVP. I think Joker gets it again, but I think OKC is legit this year.
Yeah, it's just crazy how OKC stay relevant. Like, they lose.
Oh, tell me about it.
They lose their players from here, and they still, for some reason, they kind of find it's a small market team too, and they still like Presti has to be the best GM ever, whoever was around. Cause it just I don't know how they stay relevant. I just don't see it. They stay relevant. You lost Durant, Harden, Ibaka. You lost Westbrook. You lost Paul George, Carmelo Anthony, all those guys. And some kind of way, he still do it.
And they still go to the playoffs the following year too. So remember when they traded Chris Paul for Russ? They still got the playoffs that year.
It's pretty crazy. But you're right. I think he is probably the best GM too because, like you said, the small market. They don't have those advantages and those lures that some of these other teams do, and they still be getting it done either through the draft or through the timely trades, like selling high.
Yeah.
How you got Paul George and Carmelo to come to OKC of all places? They went there to play. I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember everybody was so sure, like, oh, Chris Paul's not gonna stay in OKC. He gone. He ain't gonna play one game in OKC. This man played a whole season and took the first round of playoffs 7 games against his old team Rockets. Dog, like, that was crazy. Like, Marcus is right, man. I have no idea how they stay so relevant. Ain't missed a beat. It's crazy.
And Anthony Weston reminds us they still have like 10 first-round picks.
I know.
They have a bunch of first-round picks over the next couple of years. That's true from all their different moves. So everybody that they sold at the right time. But he also says the most exciting finals would be OKC versus Orlando. I think it would be.
It ain't gonna happen, but that would be dope.
Yeah, for sure. It would be like the two like young generations. It would be like a future. You know what I'm saying? It's like it'd be like a championship like 2 years too soon almost. But
right,
it would be cool to see that. But you never know. Just like OKC when they snuck through before. I mean, obviously they had young Durant, young Harden, young Westbrook. They made it before their time too. Yeah. So we'll see. But yeah, that's gonna be exciting stuff. I think actually next Tuesday is the first of the play-in games. So we'll be keying in on that. And I think the last games are either Saturday or Sunday. So this weekend ends the NBA season already, which is crazy.
Is it early though? Or is this normal? Because the finals is in June, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the finals will still be in June, but it'll just take like 2 weeks in April and then all of May, basically.
Okay, it's just like it's quicker this year for some reason.
It does seem like that because they have an extra week for the play-in, so the playoffs won't technically start for like another 2 weeks. But yeah, it's crazy. It's gone by fast. So that's what's up with that. And speaking of the play-in, we know how that works. But you'll have those 7th and 8th. Whoever wins goes directly to the 7th seed, and then the 9th, 10th place teams have to win 2 games in a row in order to get that 8th seed. The loser of the 7-8 has a second chance. So we'll see. As long as the Lakers are in 7th or 8th, then I'll feel a little bit better. But I just don't like the, losing you're out type of situation. So we talked about Big Cat potentially coming back for the Timberwolves. The other thing on here real quick is just want to give a shout out to Mighty Mouse, Isaiah Thomas, back in the league. And they did announce earlier today the Suns are going to sign him through the rest of the year. So he came back on a 10-day, but congrats to him. He's just like never stopped balling. So I think that's cool that he kept his opportunity alive by just like continuing to play like semi-pro, like wherever he could. So that's what's up.
It's like he don't want to go home, man. Like it's home. He must don't like being at home. He want to stay on the road, man. So
for real, like he's made his money, like he's done his thing. He's at an age where he could just chill and enjoy his life. He's like, nah, I still got a ball. So I feel like he is one of those players that just loves to hoop, loves to prove people wrong too. So that's cool, man. So shout out to him on that one. I did want to transition right into the Final Four. last night's game, UConn repeating as champions, and pretty good stuff there. I think it was pretty cool too, like the turnout that they had at the stadium, but also like all the events they had this weekend for the Final Four was pretty dope. So shout out to Phoenix too for doing a good job. I feel like the more that they have these successful events, the more we keep getting the Super Bowls and the Final Fours, and we have this awesome weather. So I kind of like when we're on a stage like that.
I talking today about that. I was like, I feel like they're gonna do something here permanent, like some championship thing they're gonna always have here because, like I said, it's a good turnout. I think the only thing we didn't do good this year was the golf tournament. We didn't do a good job on that with all the drunks and stuff. But I think other than that, like I said, the weather, the environment, it's easy to get it wrong. You know what I'm saying? You can take one street all the way to one side to the other, just on that one street. So it's easy to get it wrong. There's some nice people around here. So I think we all gonna get something that's gonna be here all the time. I just feel like it's gonna happen some kind of way, but it's kind of cool to see that. I didn't really get into the Final Four stuff though. I know it was here. I didn't really get into it like I did normally. So but I heard about it. I seen different things, but I didn't really get involved this year.
Yeah, I feel you. In years past, I guess for me too, like I was thinking about going to the game last night, and then I was like, I don't really want to waste the money, and like luckily been able to go to one before, so that made it a little bit nicer too. Now if it was North Carolina or something like that, you know what I'm saying, Strizzy, we might have been having to make a little run. I know. But Anthony Weston says he was yawning on the men's championship game. I thought it was pretty good. It wasn't as good as the women's, but what did you think though, Strizzy? Did you enjoy the game?
It's funny, man. Like I understand why he thought that, man. I put the house yesterday on UConn because I knew it was like UConn's gonna win, man. They're just too good, dog. Like from top to bottom and coaching staff too. Like they're a championship team already. You know what I'm saying? This is basically the team from last year. So like I just knew they were gonna win this game. Shout out to Purdue. They flopped last year. Early. So they really. I think they covered the spread in almost every game this season too. So hats off to them, man. I just knew UConn was going to be too much for them. They might win again next year, dog. Like that team is really good.
They definitely are, and Hurley's gearing up for another run. But yeah, this one was pretty historic. I think their average margin of victory was like 17 points. And I think that they're the first team to win every single tournament game by at least 10 points. So that's going pretty hard. They were definitely doing their thing. On Sunday, we had the women's game, which the women's game was dope too. I was able to watch that. And I want to start by saying shout out to South Carolina for sure. They had the more complete team top to bottom. And, they were undefeated for a reason.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought that was pretty dope. Coach Staley, though, she tripped me out when she broke down after the game. But I think that was, multiple factors going into that. But I thought that was really cool to see because she's definitely always so tough demeanor. But, you can see how much that meant to them. So I definitely want to say shout out to the South Carolina women's team. But the ratings for the women's game did outdo the men's.
Yep.
And I think it was like one of the most watched tournament games ever. Was that women's final on Sunday? So I thought it was pretty dope for sure, though.
Yeah, man. I think women's basketball is in great hands. This upcoming draft class is about to be phenomenal, and I think this draft class has the potential to really kind of put women's basketball definitely above where they currently are now. You know what I'm saying? Like. Do they have a hard road ahead? Absolutely. You know what I mean? But, women's championship this year and the LSU game versus Iowa game was watched more than the NBA finals last year. You know what I'm saying? So if they can keep that up, they can keep people watching them, especially if they, keep playing each other in the WNBA.
Keep women watching. They ain't people. Keep the women watching. That's what's making them do that because – It's way more women, so the women support each other, and they doing that. That's all they need right now, you know what I'm saying? So that's what it is.
Either way, man, but I mean, I just feel like from a viewer standpoint, it's kind of crazy because I feel kind of like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark in the same draft class kind of reminds me a little bit of Bird and Magic a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like the rivalry in college, they're going to bring that rivalry to the WNBA. And it's going to stick with each other forever. They're basically going to be tied to each other the same way those two were. So I think if they continue that rivalry, but also that same level of game respect, I think it'll do wonders. I think it'll bring more money to the WNBA as well.
Yeah, for sure. And if it doesn't, the WNBA is going to have to figure out how they're going to be able to. Because that's my thing too. Is like I definitely agree with you, Strizzy. Like that they have a chance to kind of push the game farther than it is right now. You know, and continue to like you got to build off this buzz. And that's my thing is like the WNBA and women's college basketball as well. They got to strike while the iron is hot and make sure that this attention that they're getting doesn't fade off, and that they really do take advantage of it to make the platform bigger. But, you know, mentioning Clark, she did win her second straight Wooden Award as the best female player. Do you think, real quick, though, that her legacy in college takes a hit because she did not win a championship?
Not at all. Not at all, because she got the championship twice. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't her. She did her thing during the game. Yeah. And she's another one in real life. I want to put her 1-on-1. I bet I could beat her 1-on-1. So I'm gonna put that out there. So I could definitely beat her now. She got old, so I could definitely beat her. But I think she's good. I don't think it's Tony. I think she'll be good.
Yeah, it's so difficult, man, because when you look at it from a team perspective, like Iowa shouldn't be there. You know what I'm saying? Like when you take her off that team, and you know they're lucky to get in. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, like she's been that good her entire tenure there. So I'm with Marcus. You know, would it have been great for her to get that championship? You know what I mean? Yes. But you know, if she goes to a bigger school like UConn or, you know what I'm saying, or South Carolina, something like she's got multiple. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
She went to Iowa, you know what I mean? Kind of her fault, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't think so. I mean,
it ain't her fault. She knew what she was doing. That's like she got the point record. She knew exactly what she was doing, getting all them points.
She set the record in general, not just for Iowa.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
no,
so
yeah,
because
yeah, because she wouldn't have got the same type of burn if she would have went into a place. I mean, not just because, like we talked about in the past, like the whole rest of the team just deferred to her completely, like hands down, you know. Yep. So she was getting all the looks she wanted. She had the big green light, and you're right. Like without her on that team, like they don't, you know, like they make the tournament maybe. Puff, you know what I'm saying? She was the only other girl on Iowa that was like ready for the moment, kind of.
Yeah.
But you see her in the background a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Like she did a great job in the Final Four game, you know, because she really took over when Clark was struggling. But against South Carolina's girl, you know what I'm saying, she really didn't have nothing for Cardozo. So I think that was a big difference, though, is that Caitlin Clark was so much to that team that, like, you know, obviously still getting them to 2 straight championships is a big feat, but it was just too much. She definitely kind of shot her shot early, though. She came out with 18 points in the first quarter, and I think she got a little bit tired, and that didn't let the rest of her team like get any kind of flow, because they were just like, okay, you got it. But when she started to kind of fall off, like they just didn't have any more answers. So good stuff, though. Kelly said, can you imagine if Gigi was here and getting ready to go into college? Eyes would stay watching. And that's true. That's crazy to think about the timing of that. But that she would be getting ready to go into college. That's crazy. Anthony Weston said, should be getting my ticket for Indiana Fever at the Dallas Wings this weekend. Game is May 3rd. And it's funny, Anthony, that you say that, because I actually saw an advertisement today for the Mercury, and it was saying your 2 girls, Marcus. It had Diana Taurasi, and then it had like the silhouette of Caitlin Clark, and it said like the legend versus the future. And it was like Mercury versus Indiana Fever. Like, obviously she's going to be drafted number 1. But you know, they're already trying to sell tickets, basically saying like, hey, come see Caitlin Clark. So I think that her rookie season, though, would be good for the WNBA. I think that'll be cool.
I seen a young lady who, I think her sophomore year, she's supposed to be like a top 5 draft pick, but she stayed in college because she get paid more money in college. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, that's crazy. Some of these ways they don't stay in college, just get paid more money from the NIL thing, but that's wild.
I know, and that's why the WNBA has really got to step their game up. Like, I don't know what it is, you know, getting bigger sponsors or, you know, doing more to like sell it. But, you know, when you go to the Mercury games, like Strizzy and I have been in the past, like the Mercury games are pretty lit.
Yeah,
like they have a good fan base, like they have a good time, but they just need to, you know, get that arena a little bit more packed, or get those TV deals or whatever it is to because you got to be paying your people a little bit more. Like you got to get that. And I understand that the wage scale is different, but it also goes from the pool of money that they generate, and it's just not the same yet. So we'll see. Unc reminds us, NAL has changed college sports forever. It definitely has changed the landscape. Kelly said August and I had a great time when they went. Yeah, it was dope. So, yeah. Let's see though. Oh, the other story, and somebody else has talked about this. Unc was saying John Calipari out as Kentucky coach, headed to Arkansas. I thought that was pretty interesting, but kind of a good move for Coach Cal. He's like, let me get out of the way before it gets too bad. And whatever stink was on Kentucky, them not getting out of the first round, or the first 2 rounds, I should say, of March Madness a couple years in a row, I feel like it was time. He said in an interview today that, they just needed a new voice. But what do you think about Cal? Like, how does that leave his coaching legacy? I think he only has 1 national championship in that time.
I think it's too late. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he should have been gone a couple of years ago now. And I think from his perspective, he should have left a while ago. You know what I mean? Like, he's developed some major players in the NBA, right? Like, major players, but they just have really fallen off. You know what I mean? As far as what the expectation has been for Kentucky. You know what I mean? So I think good for everyone all involved.
I don't know, man. I always say Coach Cal was overrated. If you think about it, man, look at Devin Booker. Devin Booker was one of his top players when he was there. So you didn't see that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it showed. Like, you didn't see Devin Booker was that type of guy. So he had to get to the NBA to get that. So I think he was overrated as a coach, and it shows you don't got 1 championship. You know what I'm saying? He should have at least 5, easily, at least 5 of them. You know what I'm saying? So, well, he didn't get 1 in UMass, did he? So is it really 1? Like, that's crazy. But I always thought he was overrated. I thought he was a good talker, and that was about it. I don't think he had great players. That's why he was relevant. I don't think he could take an average team and make them good like that. So I don't think he was like kind of coach like that. So I always thought he was average.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like, I agree with what both of you are saying. Like, if you want to put him in terms of recruiting and all that, top notch. But tactics, and actually like in-game and adjustments, not the same. His goal, his strategy was always, let me stack the deck in my favor, and I hope it works out, But I do appreciate that he was honest with his players and was like, look, if you're going to be 1 and done, I'm cool. I'm not going to try to convince you to stay in college. I'm going to make sure you get your burn, you get your attention. Let's go out here and have an all-star squad, and then you can go right to the league. So,
and throw me some money too. Throw me some
exactly.
Something on the table.
He knew he was building his roster out for the future. You know what I'm saying? He was like, okay, I'm going to always be taken care of because I got so many guys into the league. So I appreciate that he was real about that. He wasn't like, I'm going to try to I want people here 3-4 years and develop guys. He's like, look, I want to get the best guys, and we're going to see what happens. So,
but that John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins team should have won, dog. That wasn't. Come on, man. You had Drew. I think not Drew, but Bledsoe on that team too.
Yeah,
I think they should have won one, man.
Yeah, it's crazy how many, like, especially when Kentucky's done well right in the past, or when you see like all their alumni guys coming back together, it's like, dang, man, they had so many players. They had so many players.
I seen something that it like popped up. It was like an all Kentucky team versus all UNC team versus all Duke team. Like
they were nice, man.
Kentucky got some hoopers, dog.
Yeah, and they had squad depth.
So he only won one with Anthony Davis.
Yeah, that was.
And they had Gidrich and all them on that team.
Yeah,
but
I think that was
Cat wasn't on that team though, was he?
No, because they lost the year before when they had both of them. I think it was the year before when
I know Gidrich was on that team. I think I know. But yeah, I don't know. I was trying to figure out that team, that roster they had, but that's what.
Yeah, I think the one with Cat, they lost, and then they came back, and they only had like AD was like their only big man that next year, and they won it that year. So I shouldn't say their only big man because they still had some other dudes too that I can't think of right now. But they had another 7-footer, I think, too, when they had Anthony Davis. So.
Yeah, he didn't do well in the NBA.
Right. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. So good stuff there. I think we're going to use the last 10 minutes to break down our debate. And so, Marcus, you missed this part last week, but since the Final Four is over now, we have the championships. We're down to our Final Four of superheroes. So we were doing the Marvel versus DC bracket, and we got a couple more matchups to decide. So we're going to need the Slackers votes to help us decide these last few matchups right quick. We got on the Marvel side, Spider-Man versus Iron Man, and on the DC side, we got Batman versus Superman. And so let's jump into this real quick. So I made us some little slides for these last final ones so we could really get a good debate and break this thing down. So on our first one on the Marvel side, we got Spider-Man versus Iron Man. We have their strengths and their weaknesses, and then notable people that they have either killed or defeated. You know what I'm saying? Because not everybody, gets killed, but you know what I'm saying. So Spider-Man, super strength, stamina, webs, agility, regeneration. I mean, Spider-Man is very powerful. He's one of the most powerful Marvel characters that there are. I put here for his weaknesses, loving, idealistic, and then ethyl chloride, which is a sneaky one. That's like his kryptonite, but not very many people like talk about that or use it. But I do think like his like loving nature and his like optimism holds him back because he's like a little naive, I would say. So, and then Iron Man, of course, you have super genius, super strength, durability, reflexes, and technology. But I think his ego gets in the way, and also he needs his armor, right? If he gets caught without his armor, he's
right.
So what do you think though? Start off the debate for us, Strizzy, on this one. Iron Man versus Spider-Man. Where are you going with that one?
Yeah, man, it's so tricky. We talked about it last week, you know what I'm saying? It's, sensei versus protege, you know what I mean? Especially in today's MCU universe. It's tricky, you know what I mean? It's funny because I'm going Spider-Man. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. Iron Man, my only love for Iron Man is really just Robert Downey Jr. You know what I'm saying? If it's, aside from that, that's really all it is, you know what I mean? But I'm going Spider-Man. That's my guy.
Marcus, you have a vote on this one?
Yeah, I'm going Iron Man on this one. You said he needs his armor. Spider-Man needs his too. You know what I'm saying? So I think all superheroes know their special powers, but I just feel like Iron Man is way smarter. I think he can pretty much create anything that could be Spider-Man. We give him time to think about it and create it. He makes his own thing. Spider-Man pretty much has his web like naturally like that. But I think Iron Man, it's not naturally what he does, but he makes everything. So I think you give him time to make something. You know what I'm saying? He's in that cave. He had to make something to get him out of that thing, So I think you give him enough time to create something. He can always create something, and he's way more smart than Spider-Man. So I'm going Iron Man.
Got you. I like it. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great point. Like, if given enough time, to prepare for the fight, I feel like he could take Spider-Man out. But I feel like if something happened, just sheer force, like their strength, I think Spider-Man would take him out. So, oh man, that's a really tough one for me. I want to go to the side and see what our comments are. We're going to take in everybody's vote. But so far, we got Strizzy's on Spider-Man, Marcus for Iron Man. Anthony Weston says Iron Man. Unk says Spider-Man. So that's 3-3 still. Pop says Iron Man. Kelly says Iron Man as well. Anthony West says Iron Man made Spider-Man suit. He'll just program it to malfunction. Pop says Iron Man is way stronger and smarter. He's definitely smarter. And he's kind of stronger, but kind of not too though, because Spider-Man.
He's not stronger. Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man's one of the three strongest strength-wise heroes in the Marvel universe. Like he
even beat strong. The Hulk.
Yeah, exactly. He's not stronger. I know that for sure.
Dang.
But like you said though, Strizzy, if it wasn't for Robert Downey Jr., I don't think we would be even mentioning Iron Man.
We wouldn't.
So
people gotta remember, man, Iron Man's barely an Avenger, dog. Robert Downey Jr. just played that role so well. He has made Iron Man, but Spider-Man is literally the biggest character in the Marvel universe, hands down, comic book wise. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? I'll stand back. I'll let Iron Man take it. You know what I'm saying? That's where the vote's at. You know what I'm saying? That's where the vote's at.
Yeah, I think that's where the vote's at. I think the votes got Iron Man, but you're right, and I think that was what was so smart about Feige and all the people over at Marvel when they picked Iron Man, is because his stock was low, and they picked him and they built him up, and they built the whole new superhero genre off of that movie. So
for sure,
definitely shout out to them. They had that vision. And Pop says Iron Man started all this. Give some respect. For sure, but in the comic book side, Spider-Man started it, and he was like that legend. So he's done a lot too. But this is a good one. But yeah, it looks like Iron Man is going forward. So next up, we have Batman versus Superman. Batman, he's got his intellect, his martial arts, and obviously his wealth. And my bad, regeneration shouldn't be on there. He doesn't have that. My bad. His weaknesses, he has no powers. He's stuck on the past, you know what I'm saying? Because he can't get over his parents' death. And then the word Martha apparently is a weakness of his. And then on Superman's side, we got flight, super strength, super speed, X-ray vision. Oh, technology. See, I think some of these are left over from the other guys. That's my bad. Yeah. Kryptonite is obviously Superman's weakness, and then also lack of sunlight because he gets his power from our yellow sun. So with this one, it's a tough one. Strizzy, I'm gonna again let you go first and tell us how you're feeling on this one.
Yeah, this one's so tricky. Obviously, when you look at who the strongest superhero is, it's obviously Superman. But it's like Batman said, he has a clause for every single player on the Justice League, man. So the hardest part though is going to be executing it, right? Like whatever his clause for Superman is, can he execute that clause, right? But I'm going with Superman. I feel like at the end of the day, I feel like even in the last movie they had, Batman versus Superman, like even with that clause, Superman still came up on top and almost killed him. You know what I mean? So I'm going with Superman, but it's definitely not going to be as easy as I think Clark thinks.
I feel you. Marcus, which way you
going? This is super, super hard. I like both of them. It was our super teams growing up. But I got to go with who he's going to fight next. So my heart is with Batman, but Iron Man, you're going to have to fly. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to get in the air and get going. Batman ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's a loss for him already, So I'm going to have to go with Superman on this one. I think it'll be a more competition-wise, in the air. That's how they'll probably get down in the air, down on the ground. So, yeah. It's hard to do that. I'm a Batman guy first, but if he's fighting Iron Man, I'm going to have to go Superman on this one.
Got you. Dang, for me, this is a tough one, too. Based off of, like, their actual character, the way that their strengths and weaknesses, Superman should hands down beat anybody, anywhere, anytime. But Batman is, like we've seen through his stories and using his detective skills and his smarts, his intellect, he always figures out a way to take everybody down, Like you said, Strizzy, like he has that contingency clause for everybody. He has a plan for everybody. And, I got to take that into account. And I love Batman, but honestly, yeah, there's no way he should be able to beat Superman. It's Superman is the superhero. There is nothing that he can't do. He's built in, you know what I'm saying? And that's him when he wakes up, when he goes to bed. He don't have to put on a suit. He is Superman, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like as long as there's not too much kryptonite around, I feel like Superman should be able to take Batman out. But that's a really tough one, though. Let's see what the chat is saying. Kelly says, "You're right, Strizzy. I'd rather go Spider-Man, but I think Iron Man is it." Oh, my bad. That was from the first one. Pop says Superman, not even close on this one. Anthony West says Superman in a flawless victory. Unk says Batman. And says Batman got washed by Bane. He did the first time around, but he ended up taking him out. Anthony West says, which Batman, Val Kilmer or Ben Affleck? We're talking the real Batman. You know what I'm saying? We're talking Michael Keaton. Yeah. Pop says Superman needs a suit. No, he don't. He can fly without it. He just uses that as his little disguise. But
what's funny too? He needs it. No, he doesn't at all. You know what's really funny too, though? Like I feel like anytime Batman and Superman have ever fought, like Superman always fights Batman as not necessarily a friend, but basically with caution. Like I'm not trying to hurt you.
Right.
But I feel like if Superman really came in that fight, like, nah, dog, you gotta die. It's raps. You know what I mean? Like he literally tear him apart if he really wanted to. So in a fight to the death, if Superman was really going at it, I don't think Batman would be able to even get the kryptonite out fast enough.
Right. For sure. No, I agree with that. Like the way Superman is introduced and the way that's the only thing that I guess why Batman's more intriguing. I like Batman more. Because Superman, they always have to find a way to dumb him down or water him down.
Yeah, they nerf him and everything.
If we're really being serious, nobody can touch Superman. So I think in this time his strength is going to show out, but we'll see. Anthony West says how nobody knows that Clark and Superman is wild for sure.
Apparently,
you know what I'm saying?
Dog, I don't know.
He just puts a little pair of glasses on, and they're like, "Oh, he's totally just a little nerd."
You know what I'm
So,
saying?
all right. So let me see. I created a few different slides for this one, so we got to go to the right matchup. But it's looking like we got Iron Man versus Superman is our thing, right? Hold on, let me get this thing right. So this was our matchup. Then this is our final matchup: Iron Man versus Superman.
Mhm.
We got to let the votes come in for this one now. So everybody, please re-vote if you have already. Put your matchups. Just put it again for us now that we have Iron Man versus Superman. Marcus, you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna make it quick, man. I'm gonna go with because I'm thinking about Chris Reeves, rest in peace, man. So I'm gonna go Superman on this one, just because of him.
Yeah, I feel I want Marcus too. Superman takes this one. He ain't got no kryptonite. That's a wrap.
Hey, was it besides the real recent one? Was there any other Superman besides Chris Reeves back in the day? Was he always the only one?
No, there was the Superman on the TV show that what's his name? Norman Kane or whatever the heck. What was his name in the?
I'm drawing a blank, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But he was
I didn't know had a Superman show. I thought it was only a Batman show. It was a Superman show too.
There was a Superman show. It was Dean Cain.
Oh.
He was on the
Dean
Superman
Cain.
show.
Oh,
yeah,
that one. Yeah, I don't count him though.
Yeah, that one. That's what I'm saying. That one's kind of like, but Superman. There's been a couple of them, but I like this guy that they have now. I think he's pretty gangster. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. Pop says Iron Man for sure, no question. And that's the thing is that, like Marcus, like you were saying earlier, if he had time to prepare, maybe he could figure something out. Kind of like we've seen him do sometimes when he goes into his cave and he figures some things out. But I feel like if it was just going down, I gotta go with Superman too.
Yeah, just gotta go OG on this one, man. That's all. It's just OG. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, the Sensei thing. I think he's a man.
Yeah. If we gave Iron Man a lot of time to prepare, you know what I'm saying, and all of his technology, Superman still, as long as he don't take him too far out into space, or as long as he don't take him back to his home planet or something, you know what I'm saying? As long as they're fighting on Earth, Superman will take him down.
Yep.
And if not, then he'll just fly backwards around the Earth, you know what I'm saying? Reverse time and take him out again. You know what I'm saying? Oh man. Let's see. Unk says Superman. Anthony Weston says Superman by far. Kelly says Superman puke. Yeah. So it looks like it's gonna be Superman for our ultimate superhero. And you know, based on what we know about the characters and what they're supposed to be, that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? That is the right call. Even though Iron Man is super gangster, but I just feel like, you know, he's still human after all, too.
Yeah.
So Anthony West says, why does DC botch so many of their movies? I don't know, man. They struggle
because they don't use the same writers for their movies that they use for their animated films. That's why.
True.
That is the number one. I promise that's the number one reason why.
Yeah, because DC's animated films and their stories are actually like really good. Really
phenomenal.
Good.
They're phenomenal.
But they just can't get it. They can't get the movies. They can't get the movies right. And I liked when they were doing their own thing. They were doing a good job. Then they tried to copy Marvel. And then they realized that they couldn't. Then they tried to go their own way again, and it's just like kind of just it's too much.
Their problem was they could have copied Marvel like to the T, but they didn't. They, you know what I mean?
They got impatient.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They copied and they rushed. That's their problem.
Yeah. So this was fun stuff, though. That was really cool. But yeah, they definitely. I wish that DC we could see some more of their stories come about, you know, including Cyborg. Man, he was supposed to get his own movie, it never happened. You see all these other things, but I kind of like what they actually did with Blue Beetle. Maybe they just need to go with the more obscure and just start telling new stories, so there's not so much expectation. But
for sure,
but
just get some fun ones out there.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, that's what it is. Next time we will probably do the candy versus chocolate bracket. But I was thinking we'll just kind of do some of these brackets in the background as we do our little stories as well, especially to keep us through the offseason when after basketball is over and before football ramps up. So, but thank you all for playing with this one. Anthony West says need to do this with all villains. That'd be a good one too.
That would be tight.
That would be cool to see who's more powerful. But yeah, but that's what's up. Again, we appreciate y'all. Went a little bit over, but it was all in good fun. You know what I'm saying? Yep. We can make that debate happen. But I want to say thank you to everybody out there. We will see you again next week during the play-in tournament. So get ready for that. Kelly says candy versus chocolate is gonna be really hard. I know, especially for me, man. I'm Fat Boy Fresh. I like everything, so it's gonna be it's gonna be tough. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be tough to figure that out.
Man, so I'm with you.
Yeah. So we'll see. That's what's up, though. But again, thank you all for rocking with us. Strizzy, anything you want to jump on real quick or mention before we jump out of here?
Masters is coming up, man. You know what I'm saying? Marcus, I know you watching. I know Tiger's talking about, if everything come together, he thinks he's going to win. I don't know about it, but I put some money on my boy because he got to get that final Masters, you know what I'm saying? But I'm excited. To catch up on that and watch that, coming up too.
Thank you for mentioning that. Yes, I almost forgot, but I agree. The quote from Tiger, if it all comes together, I agree with him. There's no doubt that it could. He still got the skill in there somewhere. I just hope he can at least get to Sunday, like, make all the cuts and then go from there. But I'll probably throw a little bit of something on that too, because I don't want to miss out on that train if this happens to be the one. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. But all right, we'll be signing off then. And for our brother Marcus, peace out. And that was episode 241 of Say Like a Champ. It's your boy A-Dub.
Hey, boy Strizzy.
Thanks for listening to Say Like a Champ. Engage with us on Instagram. Share your thoughts, and you might just be featured on the show. Be sure to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you pod so you don't miss next week's episode of Say Like a Champ.